training should be initiated with the teachers, and technology can also provide solutions for this to make them accountable. For example, if we can think of an assessment system which assesses children based on a set of parameters which are largely and loosely knitted around the value system. It's very difficult to assess a child who is confident, but there can be an exercise, there can be a questionnaire, there can be a कोई तरीका तो होगा ना जिस पे हम एक वैल्यू सिस्टम पे बच्चों का असेसमेंट करें, बिकॉज लार्जली असेसमेंट सिस्टम इज बेस्ड ऑन हाउ दे आर स्कोरिंग, हाउ दे आर आंसरिंग क्वेश्चंस, हाउ दे आर हैंडलिंग problem sums, etc. We hardly care about how they are doing in the other skill set, how they are, whether they are a critical thinker or not, where they are behaving honestly, how they treat the fellow students in the group, how a boy treats girl in the classroom. That is very important, that is very crucial, because value system has a gender face also, because my value system as a male is a different in terms of thinking of the society, and society has prescribed different value systems for the both genders. So when I talk about how a boy treats a girl in the classroom is also very relevant. So if that kind of assessment can be designed, this kind of behavior of the child and an adult is tested, not in strict terms of testing, but some kind of assessment, how they are figuring out. And if a continuum is prepared over a period of time, or over a cycle of 5 years, 8 years, probably trajectory can be mapped, whether there is any difference or not.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suren Vikram Bahadur Singh. It is heartening for us to know, I think, that an influential leader in the state government is thinking about these issues and is taking steps to implement meaningful change. So one final round of applause for both our panelists, please. And in the interest of time, I think we'll stop the question and answer there and we'll move on. Thank you very much also to my co-chair, Ms. Sangeeta Banerjee, principal of CMS Gokhtinagar campus 2. So Farida ma'am, I think we would move on. Professor Geetha, would you like to come and honor the guests?
We are keeping you from your lunch on a Sunday of all days. So thank you for your accompaniment to the end. I think from where I'm, how I'm seeing it, I have loved every moment of this conference. It has been a great learning experience for us as the staff of City Montessori School. I must admit that we were selfish in the organizing of this conference. We wanted to learn from people who have spent so much of their lives thinking about the issue of how to do character education, and how to make it impactful. So we've been very privileged to have some experts joining us. Dara Feldman, and accompanied by her husband Dave Feldman, Jeff Smith, so Dara from USA, accompanied by Dave, Jeff from the United Kingdom, as a founding member of the Association for Character Education. It has been amazing to have your accompaniment. I'm also very grateful to Mr. Deepak Dalal as the speaker who has made those amazing connections between wildlife and the environment, the connection between that and character education, and bringing in the importance of reading. So important, those connections. From Dara, I have heard from so many of our teachers, they are raving about the sessions that you gave, both in the plenary session and in the parallel session. So many of the teachers have come, and they are desperate. Those who were not meant to be attending, who are not scheduled to be attending your session tomorrow, have said that they would like to attend your session tomorrow all day. So they are volunteer, they want to come and attend your session and learn from it. And Jeff, your sessions have been amazing. The analogy of animals and the loving domestication of animals has been such a great teaching tool. It's been so impactful, and in fact, it's a lesson in how to communicate as well, more generally, for a teacher, through examples, through analogies, and it hit home very strongly. Everybody took home that very clear message, and also the analogy of the role of a teacher being that of somebody who has to polish this gem that may be dust-laden initially, but to recognize the potential of that worthless-looking piece of, just a stone. But then when you realize its potential and you polish it and you bring out its brilliance, that analogy was a beautiful one. And can you see the tree in the seed? That is another role. So these analogies were very, very powerful. And from Dara's, those amazing, you see, one of the things that I really liked in what Mr. Rajendra Kumar Tiwari said, the Additional Chief Secretary for Secondary Education, who started off the conference, what I really liked is that he said that it's very simple. Let's not over-intellectualize character education, And that, I felt that came through so beautifully in the way that the whole of the Virtues Project International, is trying to convey about how to do character education and how very successfully it has done it with so many schools around the world and with so many parents. So we would certainly, as a school, love to engage more and learn more about how to use the precepts and the simple constructs of the Virtues Project to help our children, help our teachers to do character education well. Other than that, Mr. Payam Shoki, I don't know whether he's in the room or not, but we really want to thank him for the session that he did. I think he's had to leave. His session about, the theoretical framework for character education, how one can go about thinking about those. One framework, as Dr. Singh said, we are a very diverse society and diverse frameworks may be needed. But he presented one coherent and very interesting framework with which to do it, where he emphasized the twin moral purpose. I'd like to thank all the other speakers. I don't have all their names right here in front of me. In fact, I do. I've just got them here, so I will do that. Dr. Hamid Mohajer, your presentation, I don't know where you are sitting, but his presentation was really wonderful, focusing on the questioning the dominant paradigm of competition, that competition being the way to achieve excellence, competition being the motivator for effort that will lead to excellence, questioning that premise. I think that was a very thought-provoking and challenging session. when Dr. Hamid Muhajir talked about that. Then Mr. Shamim Mubahad, I'd like to thank him very much for talking about the role of music in character education. I was not fortunate enough to attend that session, but some of the teachers that I talked to who attended that session, they said it was really powerful and very, very interesting to think of how music is the vehicle for character education without overtly it being the case that you are using it directly for character education, but in its own way, it has a powerful impact on character. I'd like to thank Mrs. Shipra Upadhyay, principal of CMS Rajipuram Campus 2, because she talked about critical thinking and the power of analysis. She spoke about the junior youth empowerment and character education, and based on her experiences of doing youth empowerment work within City Montessori School. I'd like to thank Nadia Mogbel from the Blossoms School, principal and director of Blossoms School in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, for her talk on education, building a moral structure to distinguish right from wrong. I'd like to thank Suniti Jha, Secretary of the Neuraha Foundation, Panchgani, for her session on redefining quality education and ongoing dialogue. Ms. Pyam Shogi's topic was whole school approach to values education, experiences from the field. I'd like, of course, in absentia, to thank, we really appreciated the session by Mr. Rajendra Kumar Tiwari yesterday morning when he set off the conference on a very good note. I'd like to thank Mrs. Sunita Phadke, Principal, Vidyanchal School, Pune, Mrs. Shalini Sinha, Principal of Study Hall School, Lucknow, Mrs. Nalini Sen Gupta, Principal of Vidya Valley School, Pune, Mr. Ram Vilas, Principal of RSBN Montessori School, Kakori Village, Lucknow, and Dr. Sarvendra Vikram Bahadur Singh, Director of Basic Education, for his talk on the role of government and of civil society. And probably, very importantly, more importantly than anybody else probably, Mrs. Marzia Dalal for stepping in and, doing an extempore sort of ad-libbing session without any prior notice, because one of our speakers was absent. She stepped in and was willing to speak at short notice, and what a really thought-provoking session that was, and it invited, I think, the most amount of participation from the audience, partly because we had a bit more time with that session as well. We were fortunate to have that, but really also because what she raised and the way in which she raised it really sparked a lot of, it had a lot of connect with the problems that are experienced so and felt so much on a day-to-day basis. We can all relate to those problems because all of us have students, children who have gone to university, and we've got class students and going down who shall face these issues that you have raised. If we don't prepare them from now, they shall repeat the same mistakes and they shall go through the same unfortunate ways of spending their time wastefully and not getting as much out of life and as much out of their higher education as they would otherwise get if they were made more autonomous agents while they were young, rather than being made automatas who are, told what they have to do, rather than becoming autonomous agents who decide for themselves, who make wise choices themselves, who are empowered to make discerning choices, and who have been made critical thinkers, the kinds of skills that Dr. Vikram Singh emphasized. When we think about character education, a lot of the sessions in the last day and a half have talked about the importance of critical thinking skills, the importance of skills of analysis, of comparison, of evaluation. Those skills are extremely important in order to do good character education, because when we develop those skills, children are more equipped to decide between right and wrong themselves, rather than somebody else prescriptively telling them what is right or wrong. So I think that I've picked up on a few little things that came from different sessions, and I think there are a lot of take-home messages from this conference. I took some feedback from our principals yesterday evening, and they were saying that yesterday was a fantastic day because they took home a lot of new learning from yesterday's sessions. And when I talk to our principals today, I'm sure I will learn more, but I've talked to some of our school counselors and some of our environment coordinators that are here. I've talked to our some in charges that are here. I've talked to some of our moral education teachers that are here and JYEP coordinators, and the feedback has been that it's been a tremendous conference. It has sustained everybody's interest, and another parameter with which I guess one could say that the conference has been extremely successful is that, you know, almost throughout the conference there has been pin drop silence in the hall. When speakers have spoken, there has been utter focus in what is being said. It is highly unusual. I promise you, it is highly unusual in most school contexts in India that people will sit silently through talks and sessions. But here, there was utter, you know, concentration and focus because people felt that they were getting such good value. So friends, one last thing is that Mrs. Farida Wahidi has come up with, sorry, we'll just wait for this child who's a little antsy. Okay, so Farida Wahidi has drafted a resolution that we hope will express the collective voice from this conference, some sort of a reasonable degree of understanding, common shared understanding about what have been some of the important things that have come out. And if you agree with this, then, you know, we'd request you to sort of show your hand in support of this resolution, and that should be a sort of one concrete outcome from this conference. I'd request Farida to read this out, please.
Thank you. So, friends, International Conference on Character Education and Future Impact, City Montessori School, 2nd, 3rd February 2019, a resolution. The deliberations. Sir, you have your copy? The deliberations of the International Conference on Character Education and Future Impact, held at City Montessori School, Lucknow, have addressed the imperative need for character education and moral empowerment, and recognize them to be an integral part of the preparation that our children and youth need to undergo for their present and future responsibilities for the betterment of the world. The following are the points of broad consensus arrived at by all the participating schools and institutions that have worked extensively in the field of character education or moral education, citizenship education, or value education. Number one, that our vision in the field of education has to focus on advancing the civilization, both spiritually and materially. Therefore, we are speaking of the two movements, that of the individual in his or her spiritual, intellectual, and material growth, and that of the society and its historical continuity for the entire human race. Second, that the development of one's spiritual qualities and personal progress cannot be separated from the advancement of civilization. It becomes clear that moral education and questions of morality in general cannot be examined in isolation from the forces that shape society and move civilization. And they certainly then cannot be separated from those forces that create a movement of history. Those forces that in a given moment have to do with the decline of civilization or the creation of a new civilization are very much related and critically important to the subject of morality and moral education. The choice, number three, the choice before humanity today ranges from the annihilation of the entire human race to the building of a great world civilization. This choice is not a political or economic choice. It is not a technological choice. It is a moral choice. We need to build the capability of our children, junior youth, youth and adults to make moral choices. Number 4, moral education has to go beyond the mere acquisition of a set of eternal virtues. We need the morality of an active person. The morality of a passive good person is not good enough anymore. Number 5, we have to develop a system of moral education that creates people who are able to build a new civilization and are able to bring about change. A person who is moral in the sense that he has all the moral instruments, the moral authority, and the moral power to participate in social transformation is one who is qualified to participate in the creation of a new civilization. This very important capability is what the moral education system has to develop. The capability of working on oneself and working on the environment at the same time in order to change the environment. Number 6, that the system of moral education, while it is concerned with the morality of the individual, has also to be concerned simultaneously with the change of the structures of society to create the ability in the individual to change the structures of society. This requires the partnership of family, educational institutions, civil society, and government agencies. 7, that educational institutions have to translate that vision of moral education into their policies, programs, activities, and systems of evaluation. This burgeoning discourse will gather further momentum if the participating schools commit to organizing seminars in their respective cities and involve more institutions in this momentous movement. Do you all agree with this, friends? Is this going to be our resolution? Yes, please. There's a mic over there.
At study hall, we've been deliberating a lot on the word citizenship because we feel that citizenship is, they're citizens of autocratic states as well. So I propose that it should be active democratic citizenship because citizenship in an autocratic state is quite different from that of a democratic state. And a citizenship in an autocratic state is not a very positive citizenship. So I propose that we could rethink about just putting citizenship to making it an active democratic citizenship. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. We can do that. Where it was coming from is that, you know how moral education in different countries is called by different names. And, you know, in the UK, it's called citizenship education. What we in India call moral education, in the UK they call it citizenship education. And I think they do it on the presumption that we're talking about good citizenship, democratic citizenship. So there is an implied, there's an underlying tacit assumption there. But certainly that can be done. Thank you.
Thank you. With regard to the schools that would like to take it up, would you like to share, because you have been saying so many times this idea, so would you like to share here? Yeah.
Initially, when Farida informed me about this conference, I was quite delighted, and I could really feel that if this could be done in the context of our city level, wherever the schools are, it would be really very effective and helpful. So I'm from Blossoms School, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and I feel this is really very much needed if this kind of seminar could be organized, and if City Montessori School could really give more of input and feedback to the conference, it would be very helpful. We can even have it in a regional wise. If the other schools who are nearby, they could also be invited as delegates, and I'm dreaming of it, and I have a very clear vision that would be very helpful not only to our own school, but to the schools at large in Bhubaneswar as well as the whole region. Yes, we want to organize it sometime maybe in month of May or end of June.
Great. Thank you. That's fantastic. The other school principal who said that they would like to organize it was Mr. Payam Shoghi, who said that in Riverdale International School, or maybe with the support of the other two schools that were present here, the Vidya Valley and the Vidyanchal School from Pune, that they would also like to have a similar event in Pune. You're saying something, Kamra? Kharagpur. Yeah, Kharagpur, West Bengal also, you would like to. So we will add those schools to the bottom of this resolution, so that this becomes a movement that gathers further momentum. Thank you so much. Shall I just announce about the thing, if you have something else to say? No? I would like to thank all the people who have been volunteering and helping with the organization of the conference. My colleagues right sitting over here, Anupriya, please stand up, Anupriya. Anupriya Bajaj David, Ishu Dubey, and Harsh Shukla, then Vasanti Narasan, and Shobani, who is now somewhere in the hall. Yes, right at the back there. And also Romila and Sangita, who have been helping very much with the organization of the program. But one thing that I must mention is that organizing an event of this level in CMS is not very difficult, because you have the entire fraternity of CMS helping you out, right from the administrators to the principals of the various campuses. My special thanks to all the principals, and as well as to Mrs. Sushmita Basu, our superior principal and the head of Quality Assurance and Innovation Department, who all volunteered and came forward to chair and co-chair the event. And of course, a special thanks goes to our motivator and inspiration, Dr. Jagdish Gandhi, who unfortunately could not join us, but has been with us in spirit, as well as to Dr. Bharati Gandhi, and of course our president, dear Geeta Didi, as we warmly call her, for making this conference successful. Thank you all. I know some of you came from Manipur, from Tripura, from West Bengal, from Orissa, from Pune, and from Jammu and Kashmir. You took a very long journey and you came. Thank you all very much for coming and joining us. And thanks once again to all the school teachers, in charges, vice principals, who also participated in the program. We will have a group photograph on the steps towards the fountain, and then immediately have lunch. And then we say bye, and we thank you for your patience. And there is yes, thank you for that reminder. There is a trip of sightseeing of Lucknow. For those friends who have come from other places, and even the Lucknowites who want to join us are most welcome, as well as the friends who have come from other countries. So, and I also want to mention a special thanks to all the schools of rural areas of Uttar Pradesh who have been present over here. And can you please give applause for them? Because of the fact that they really made it a point to come. Ram Vilas, of course, made the presentation. You already thanked him. Thank you.
In fact, I would, one of the sentences that really caught my imagination was the one from the presentation by Mr. Ram Vilas from Kakori village. His statement that we cannot have, नैतिक शिक्षा नहीं हो सकती है जब तक कि मतलब आपका एग्जैक्टली क्या था कि I want to hear it again. सामाजिक हुए बिना व्यक्ति नैतिक नहीं हो सकता. हाँ, तो he said कि unless a person is socially conscious, he elaborated and he gave lots of examples of what he means. unless a person is social, he cannot be moral. Meaning that unless a person is engaged in service to society, there is no morality. So that was a beautiful take-home message, and I think it's one of those nuggets that is encapsulated in just a few words, which was very impactful, I felt. So thank you to all the people who have come from the schools, from the villages around Lucknow. Thank you for that. Farida's husband has had no acknowledgement. He's been a great support. It's just Siru's fine. Thank you. Please proceed for the photo session. It's just through the lounge.